Okay, well, welcome to the Saturday seminar. So who here likes sanding, staining, and finishing? Oh, really?
That's two more hands than I thought.
Get out. This isn't for you.
Oh, gosh.
So we got a few diehards is what you're saying.
Wow.
Well, we did a seminar a while back on Rubio when we first got it, and it's kind of become a big deal here at the store. We have a lot of younger couples coming in these days looking for, they're not expert woodworkers or anything like that. They're either doing a project like a shelving unit that they built or something, or just had a couple in yesterday redoing their kitchen cabinets. So they're going to do their cabinets in it. But a lot of times they come in and they're like, well, I want to stain, and then what do I put on for a finish? And well, when you go through that whole process of, put the stain on, let it dry, top coat, sand, final coat, it's a big deal, especially if you've got a big floor or run of cabinets that you're doing. Not such a big deal on like the stuff Dennis does.
Yeah, not a big deal.
Simple stuff.
Yeah, simple stuff.
Just kidding. But anyway, so we did this rocking horse. In our last, we actually did a video series with this, and it was part of our seminar that we did originally. This was a cherry rocking horse that had been kind of forgotten about, and so I went through and redid it and cleaned it up, and then decided to use the Rubio on it. So, and the reason I tried the Rubio on it was, there again, it has so many little ins and outs and stuff, and so if I was going to do a traditional finish, getting in on all these little corners and stuff, that's where like an oil or something is nice, because it just saturates in there. So I knew that I didn't want to use a polyurethane, so we used the Rubio. And how long has that been on here? Probably over a year now, hasn't it?
About a year.
Yeah. So it's held up really well. This particular pony usually sits on top of the Rubio case, so it's sold us a lot of Rubio because we use it as an example. But anyway, so Rubio, it's a one-coat system, and that's the monocoat part of it. The nice thing is that, a couple of nice things. It's available in 50 colors. So you kind of get your stain and finish all in one. It used to be like those stain and finishes all in one were kind of junk, because it was like a polyurethane or something, and you just put one coat on. Well, it never really comes out that nice. This kind of gives you the best of both with really good results and really good protection. And they originally designed Rubio for flooring projects, and that's kind of where it started. And there's a company here in town that uses it exclusively. So, my thinking is that if it's good for a floor, it's probably going to be okay for our woodworking projects and stuff that we do. So anyway, this guy's held up pretty well. Rubio comes in a variety of sizes. This is kind of our most common one. This is what's called a 390. And you'll notice that there's two parts there. There's the 2C and then the part B. Well, the part B is what's called an accelerator. So it has nothing to do with how hard it is. A lot of people come in and think, well, I want the part B, so it's good and hard. Well, it doesn't make any difference on how durable it is or anything. But what it does is it speeds up the overall cure time. So if you're applying Rubio on your project, it's going to feel dry to the touch and in about 2 or 3 hours at the most. And it'll feel pretty much done within a day or two. But it doesn't fully cure for 21 days. Well, that's a long time, especially if you're doing a floor or something that's like kitchen cabinets or something like that, where you're going to be touching them sooner. So anyway, that's where the accelerator comes in. That speeds up the overall cure time to 3 to 5 days. So that's a handy thing. Now when you get it in the 390s, it automatically comes with the Accelerator. If you buy it in the 100 milliliter units, you can get it just like this and you can use it just like this, or you can go on ahead and get the Accelerator with it. And these are mixed at a 3-to-1 ratio. The only thing about it is once you mix it, you've got 6 hours to use it. So, and believe it or not, one of these goes a long way. I think we probably used about maybe a half a bottle on that rocking horse, maybe 3/4 of a bottle. So that's a pretty good sized project. So if you are going to mix this up, mix it in small batches, and that way you're not overdoing it, because like I said, you've got to use it pretty soon. The other thing that I like really well about Rubio is that along with those 50 colors, you can just buy these little samples for $5.99, and so you can test out colors. So if you've got a project that you're thinking about and you want to put some color and some tone in it, don't be afraid to buy these things. We do have a lot of craft people. This is all they buy. You know, they just did a little box and they come in and they get a little bottle of Rubio and they're good to go. So that's kind of nice too. That way you're not buying a big quart or even a pint, you know, that's going to sit on the shelf for 3 or 4 years and then you come back and it's no good. So as far as application, let's get into that a little bit. Can you think of anything else I've missed up until this point?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Nope.
As far as application, Rubio says, you know, okay, sand your projects to no more than 120. Well, that's pretty rough in my book. You know, I'm used to going to 220 and 320, sometimes 400. And I ran into some problems with the rocking horse on that. I mean, that's got all these little ornate beads and shapes and stuff, and it's got a lot of end grain showing up. And when I sanded it with 120, I just felt like there were too many sand marks in it. So I went on ahead and went to 180 with that as far as the prep. Now we've had people come in and say, oh, don't worry about that. I sand to 400 and use Rubio all the time. So we have tried that, and you know, you may not quite get the saturation, but we haven't really seen any problems with finish sanding. So if you're worried about that, I wouldn't be too worried about it. You know, feel free to go to 180 or even 220.
That being said, you could just sand to 180 or 220 and not have to do the 320 or the 400. That's what I'm finding in my own personal.
Well, there's that too. Yeah,
I'm
save your sanding time.
Because I've done one with a 400 and I've done one with a 220, and you know, it's horse apiece.
Yeah.
So.
And I have noticed, matter of fact, it was just yesterday, the couple that came in that were doing their doors and their kitchen cabinets, he had stripped all the polyurethane off the door and wanted to do some samples on it. And so we put some Rubio on there, and I could tell right away that it was a raised panel door, and he had like a coved end grain, you know, a raised panel for that center section. And I think he had sanded it to like 100 or 120 or something, cross grain. And the Rubio looked really dark in those areas. So didn't look so bad on the top areas. So we took it back off, sanded it with 220, put it back on, because they were immediately concerned when we put the test sample on. Sanded it with 220, it all blended together just fine. So when you get into end grains and stuff like that, that is where you're going to need to you know, do a little better job sanding. So it's just like regular stain in a way. If you know, if you're not prepping it quite right, you know, and you're taking shortcuts and stuff, it's going to show up when you put the Rubio on. So as far as application, once you've got it all mixed, let's just go on ahead and do that. Let's just get I'm going to be really super scientific about this. can use syringes. We sell syringes out there, so if you want to get that ratio exact, you sure can.
What kind of shelf life does it have before you mix it? If it's still in the...
I don't think there's any set shelf life on it that I know of. You know, the bottles seem to...
I think it'd be well over a year, as long as that's sealed and
Yeah.
Did you say you had some of those epoxy mixing sticks?
oh, you know, I'm pretty sure we do.
So anyway, you just want to do a good job getting it all mixed up. And you should measure it out. Don't do what I show you here today.
What you're going to find out is that you're going to mix it with a syringe, and you're going to get down there and you're going to look and do all that, and then pretty soon you're just going to say, I know what I'm doing.
Exactly.
Am I wrong?
You are not wrong, Dennis. Well, like I said, the Accelerator, this isn't like an epoxy or something where it's critical that you have that ratio mixed up. I mean, if you don't put, you know, a little less Accelerator in it, then your cure time will just be a little longer. Anyway, I do like these epoxy mixing sticks. They're plastic. If you do mix epoxy with them, you can just pop the epoxy off after you're done. And so these are kind of handy little things. So, as far as prepping the board, I've sanded both of these boards with 180. Rubio wants you to get all the dust off that you can, so vac these up the best you can. There is some stuff called raw wood cleaner. People ask us all the time, well, do I really need the raw wood cleaner? And can't I just use acetone? I'm seeing online that people are using acetone and stuff like that. Acetone's really bad for you, though. I mean, it's hot stuff, so matter of fact, I should probably put some, it'll be fine. But anyway, this...
Do as we
Like I
say,
said.
not as we do.
Yeah.
Do as we say, not as we do.
They say that this sort of electrostatically pulls the extra dust out of there, and I think it actually does a pretty good job of it. I don't think they're BSing us on this, but a lot of people skip this. My thought is that anytime you're using paints or systems, if you start veering away a long ways from the directions, and you're on your own. You know, you just don't know what you're going to get. So I like to use this. I mean, it goes a long, long ways. Hopefully this will show you what it's taken off here.
I've been using denatured alcohol. How far am I veering off?
Well, I don't know. Has it been working?
Seems to.
Well, there you go.
You always get something
So yeah,
off. I mean,
so
there's always dust there.
You're getting some dust off of there, significant amount. So anyway, raw wood cleaner, that's part of their system, and it works good. I just bought a jug and I just have it.
Well, okay, I'll do that too then.
Yeah.
I gotta be correct too.
You used it on the horse. It did well
Yes,
on the horse,
we did
especially
use it
as
on the
old as
horse. Yeah, to get in all those little ins and outs. Now, as far as applying it, there's a, that's not very white.
That cleaner that you just put on, how long do you have to let that dry?
It's about 5-10 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah, just as soon as it evaporates. I will say that acetone evaporates quicker, but I still don't feel like it takes the dust off as well. As far as applying it, you can get a kit with a handle. It's got the scrub brush on it. This is just kind of like a little, I don't know, like a Velcro kind of thing. Sticks to these. If you're doing a big area, these really work. One question we get is, why can't I just use a regular rag? Well, you can use a regular rag, just make sure it's lint-free. The nice thing about these is it really pushes it down into the wood grains really well, so you're sort of scrubbing it. The other thing is it uses way less Rubio because they're not absorbent. So that's important too. I like to just cut these things up into small pieces too, and that works, you know, if you got little spots to do. I haven't figured out a great way to cut them because the scissors don't seem to like them very well, but anyway, that is how you would normally apply the Rubio and stuff. So, so we'll just go through it here real quick. I think I'll do it. This isn't dry yet, so we'll set that aside.
So what he mixed up is pure, which is basically kind of like just a clear polyurethane would be.
Correct.
And an oil base where you kind of get that little bit of an amber look to it. That's what he's mixing here. And that's what I've been using mostly. But when he was talking about doing this seminar, we got to thinking about it, and it's like, you know, Rubio is a lot more than just one and done. There are quite a few options here, which is what he's going to go through. So I just wanted to let you know that there's so much more to it that we weren't even aware of it when we first started.
Right.
So
right,
this has been kind of a learning curve for us too. But
so I'm just going to pour just a little bit out here. I should cut one of these down, but I'm not going to. Pour just a little bit more on. Then I'm going to leave this on here for anywhere from, you know, 6, 10, 12 minutes. You don't really want to go that much further beyond that because it's going to start drying. And if, you know, Rubio's thing is that put it on liberally, take as much of it off as you can. So the more you take off, the better sheen you'll get and the better finish that you're going to get. If you leave little spots in the corners and stuff where it pools up, it's going to dry that way. So you'll get little shiny spots and stuff like that. So just do your best to take it off. So we'll let that sit on there for a little bit.
now, in my shop, I wouldn't do that at 10 or 12 minutes because my shop it's controlled, but it isn't controlled like this room is. So it would start to tack up a little quicker than that. So I'm usually 5 to 6 minutes in my shop, just so you know. And you'll see it.
Yeah, you can start to see it dry out. Like I said, it depends on, you know, how thirsty the wood is.
Yeah, that too.
I know the rocking horse up towards the top of the head where the end grain was showing up, it just kept sucking it in. So I just kept putting it on and letting it, you know, suck all that stuff up. So now if you're doing a big tabletop or something, think about working in sections. Don't do the whole thing in one shot. One beautiful thing about Rubio is that it doesn't overlap. It will not stick to itself. So you can do a section, apply it, wipe it all down, go to the next section, overlap it. Well, that also works great because if, you know, little Tommy who comes over and he's got his toys and he's playing on the table and he puts a big scratch in the top, you can go back over it with Rubio again and it'll stain that scratch, but it won't leave an overlap mark on anything else. So from a furniture repair standpoint, that's a huge deal, because if I did that with any other stain or any other finish, you're gonna get overlap marks. So I'll do a little demo on that, and hopefully this will ring true. Unless I've got the wrong color here and it's completely different, but.
Do you feel like humidity makes in your shop, does that change the drying time?
Yeah, it would. I have a dehumidifier in my garage,
Right.
and so I'm taking a lot of the moisture out, but I know it's not the same as this room.
As a house, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or even if I were doing it in my basement, it would probably be different. I'd probably be able to do that 10 or 12 minutes, but in my shop, it tacks up a little quicker than that.
Okay.
What are the temperature constraints on it, both application and storage? Because my space gets relatively cold during the winter.
I think it's supposed to be applied above 60 degrees, if I remember right. Does that sound right to you?
Pretty big range.
I don't know.
For some
That's a
reason,
good question. I would assume it's like most other finishes, you know, you just got to keep it reasonable. We can look that up for you too.
It's finished, but is it considered a waterproof, like for a tabletop?
Yes, yeah. So I saw tests online where they did just like a glass ice water, you know, and it didn't bother it. And they tested all kinds of things, heat and all that, and it all held up pretty good, surprisingly. I think they did a wine glass test where the wine spilled a little bit and it did stain. So it probably has some limitations, but in general, it's supposed to be water resistant. So you're probably not going to get the same kind of performance you are like the polyurethane, where it's just, you can just set whatever you want on there, you know, but there again, I think that's something that you could probably fix later. So I probably could have left that on a little bit longer. But when you wipe this off, like I said, you're just wanting to get as much of that stuff off as you can. And it really kind of starts to get kind of slick. Now, I will say if you take it off too soon, it may have a drying look to it, and you may want to put another coat on. They say a second coat won't do anything, but I have done a second coat on things just because, like the rocking horse, I felt like it was just too dried out. It just sucked up too much of that. So these rags are kind of nice. What do they call these? The
white balls.
white balls. So there's no lint or anything left behind with these, which is important. So you can get these on Amazon, and
They're a nice towel. I mean, I have them in my shop. I don't clean the windows with them, but I do.
So here you can see that this part was already dry. I came in and overlapped, and there's no overlap marks. So that's incredible to me. I mean, and I think it's because it has like 0 solvents, 0 something or other, and 0 something or other. That's pretty much what it is. It works. I read that online this morning. I can't remember what it was, but there's 3 things that makes that work, I guess. So
is there any problem with, you know, if you pile up your rags and the busting?
yes,
This will.
it will.
Okay.
Yep.
It's a solvent base?
Yep, the 2C, the interior, this is all interior stuff that we're looking at, is solvent-based. I don't know if it's technically called solvent-based, but there's a big warning label on it that says don't crumple them up like this and put them in the trash can like that. So anyway,
So let me just go on this for a minute, because I've had some experience on some of the darker stuff in that. When he put that on, if he hadn't waited what he did and he decided to wipe that off sooner, that would have been lighter than that. And I've done that before, and I've been able to go back, because I still have the mix, and I've applied more, rubbed it in, and let it go for 3 or 4 more minutes, and then wiped off, and it has gotten darker. There's got to be limitations to that. I just don't know what they are, but if you wipe it off too soon, you still got hope, but if you wait too long, then you get what you get then.
yeah, so you should probably stick to that 10 to 15 minute window if you can.
Probably.
Just to be
I
consistent.
just got impatient, I guess, and
Yeah.
For woods that tend to blotch, would you recommend pre-stain conditioner for this, or is it not gonna help?
No, you can't put this over another product. Yeah, because what they say is that it sticks to the wood only. It won't. So if you're refinishing something, every little bit of everything's got to come off for this for good adhesion and stuff. So
And if you're removing it, because I know you said you removed that from the door that you were. What product did you use to remove it?
Well, sanding for one thing.
Sure.
Yeah, you know, I don't know if like acetone and stuff would affect that. That's a good question.
Well, he did say they stripped that, didn't they?
Yeah,
didn't
they stripped it with scrapers and sandpaper.
Oh, I
Yeah.
thought maybe put a stripper on
No,
there.
they didn't use a stripper
Oh,
or
okay.
anything.
I
so,
didn't catch that part then.
But yeah, you know, it's since it's relatively thin, I found that you can sand it off pretty easy. So, yeah. But I think it's like any kind of stain though, once it's there, I don't think there's a whole lot that's going to take it off chemically, you know, but so anyway, that's kind of just the basics of how Rubio works. I did find that you don't have to use these. You can use a foam brush if you want, or a bristle brush. And sometimes you got to do that on all those. I mean, that rocking horse was kind of a nightmare. I mean, it had all those little ins and outs and stuff, and that little dude was a little bit of work. So I used a foam brush on a lot of that stuff, and so don't get hung up on these necessarily. Don't have to use these. Now there is a red one and there's a white one. The white one is for application. This is more for knocking things down, so rough surfaces and stuff like that. And we'll get into that where we use this in just a few minutes here. So do you want to show them some of the stuff you did real quick?
Okay.
Before we get into the next phase, and I'll pass a few of these blocks around. I mean, this is what I really like, is just all these different colors and stuff that you can get with it.
That was the point, is there's just more to it than just putting on pure. So,
I'm assuming they have clear,
Yeah, and that's their pure color.
a pure color. Is that
because
like a
the,
lot of the old stain or stuff that yellow? It just-
Got a little bit of an
Yeah.
amber to it.
It does amber. okay.
because
Yeah.
the natural, they have one called natural, but doesn't that kind of like end
That's
up?
a stained color. Yeah, it's not natural
Oh,
at all.
okay.
Yeah.
So,
This has a little bit of bumpiness to it. Is there any 400 smoothing after this is done, or are you already done?
Those were probably sanded with, yeah, that's done.
I mean, you can't.
Some of that is because it's white oak, you know, and it's got open grain and stuff. This will give you a little better idea of like on a closed grain type.
So on like these, one side is a little glossier than the other, it looks like to me. What's the difference?
Oh yeah.
oh yeah,
So that's called SheenPlus.
Oh, okay, so there's another product on top.
There's another product you can put on top of it.
You put on top, you don't mix it with the.
You don't mix it, yep. Once the other stuff is fully cured, then you can go over it with a product called SheenPlus.
Like a ceramic, or what is that?
Oh, this is SheenPlus. No, it's basically just a clear finish. And I guess the one downside to Rubio is that it's kind of a matte finish. It's not really even a satin. So if you like an oiled look, wood look, that's kind of what you're going to get. We did that with the rocking horse. We felt like it was a little dull, so we did use SheenPlus on top of that. SheenPlus is the same way. You can use it with or without the Accelerator, I believe.
yep.
But it will turn it more towards a satin. It's not going to give you a satin, but it's going to give you just a little bit more sheen to it. Yeah.
So, I'm not going to pass these around, but you can certainly come up afterwards and look at these. But this has SheenPlus on it, and when I tell people about it, it's like when I made them, they look really good, and then you look at them for a week and you're thinking, maybe that's just a little, not quite as snappy as I want. So I put on that SheenPlus, And sometimes I've done 2 or 3 projects with that, and this is how I describe it to people. And sometimes that SheenPlus will go from here to here, and then sometimes it goes from here to here. You never really know, and I don't know if that's a function of the wood or what, but it kicked these up a little bit more than I thought it was going to, and I'm okay with it, but it's like a box of chocolates. You just never know what you're going to get, to some degree. So, anyway.
Yeah.
But I almost about everything that I've done is I've added SheenPlus to it, because I tend to like that little bit of spunk. Now, Dave Larson out in the store, I was showing him these, because these don't have anything on them yet. And he thought that was just great. He would not want anything shinier. So, it's all personal taste and what you like. So,
Yeah, I don't know if you can see it from here, but this is a whole nother thing we're going to get into. But this one just has Rubio on it. This one has SheenPlus on top of this. So like Dennis said, it's real subtle. And more than likely, I did these samples yesterday, and I don't think I let it dry long enough for this one. I think you'd get a little bit more sheen with it, but SheenPlus is certainly a nice thing for...
It really is. It is for me anyway. It's the look I want. Oh.
And that's mixed in a 3-to-1 ratio with the Accelerator as well. And it's applied the same. You put it on, wipe it off.
Does it bump up the water resistance?
Gosh, I don't know about that.
Yeah,
it's
I don't know
a good question,
either.
but I don't know how to answer
You would
that
kind of
one.
think it would. Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. I'm trying to think if there's anything else on the basics.
Is this one of those products that say using a well-ventilated area? I mean, my workshop's in the basement, my furnace is in the corner.
Yep, no, I don't have any trouble with that.
Yeah, I'd say
I've
that's...
been doing them out in the shop for the most part, but we're in here all the time doing this, and
Yeah, it really doesn't have much of a
No.
smell to it.
So
Yeah.
that don't smell.
no,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be concerned about
Okay.
that.
Like
I have a
yesterday...
vent fan, an explosive type vent fan down there.
Oh, sure, yeah. Like yesterday, when the couple that were doing the cabinets came in, they wanted to try a General Finishes stain, oil-based stain, and they wanted to try this Rubio. And they had a little baby, I don't know, 9 months old, something like that, maybe? 6
No, it was
months?
4 months.
4 months, okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, of course they got their whole kitchen to do. And so we did the Rubio, and they're like, oh, that's cool, let's try the General Finishes. I popped the lid open, and she's like, whoa, we can't do that, I mean, so that is a nice thing. You don't have all those smells and stuff and that you get associated with some of that other stuff. Trying to think if there's anything else on the basics.
My only other thing would be, when I first started out using this, I did the shop rag and rubbing it in and whatnot, and then on these, I actually did use that, this here, and I don't know. I don't want to be a shill, but it's worth it. It just, and I was telling Kim this, I said, when you rub that in on with the rag, half of it's in the rag and never goes anywhere but to the rag. But with these, I was able to put that on. I poured mine on, and then I troweled it out, and then I brushed it with a foam brush if I needed to hit some area, and then I take these and I kind of rub it in a bit, and I felt like I was doing a better job than I did with just the rag. So I did that, and then once I did the 5 to 6 minutes, then I went back with a rag and took it off and worked at it. Like we were telling you earlier, sir, is that like with me, I've got corners and stuff. So you need to get that stuff out of those corners and off any edge and stuff. So that's where the work is just dealing with that. So if we get time, I'll put some on one of these and you'll kind of see what I'm talking about. But anyway, I just wanted to harp on that.
Yeah.
It really is
it
nice.
does make
I
a big
felt like
difference.
I was getting it in there way better. So,
Are the pads reusable?
I'm sorry, what?
Are the pads reusable?
Not really, no, because you got finish on them and there's no good way to clean them or anything. And
The only thing I did when I was doing these is I cut it, I think I quartered mine, because I have two different colors going on this here. So I colored it, and then I put that in a baggie for just a while, thinking, well, I don't know what's going to happen here. I might want to use this again, knowing full well that I can't use it 3 days from now. But so I did do that. And actually, and we get into it, but yeah, I'll get into that later. So that will bring that up just a little bit more. So
yeah, it's a good idea. Throw it in a baggie, just like you would a
just for, I
paintbrush.
mean, I do that the same way with the glue brush and stuff, and until I'm done gluing. And some days I can get that second day out of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Right. Yeah.
We've all done it, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Especially with the cost of things these days. If you do have a big tabletop or something, you can use a squeegee to get it on there and then go over it with the scrub pads. You'll see that a lot online with Blacktail Studios and stuff.
And the one thing you'll notice is when you do that is that, like Kim said earlier, it really does go a long way. I mean, we're not concerned about how much he poured in there today because of what we're doing here, but if you're at home, you're going to be concerned about how much you mix up and stuff. So you're going to mix up a little and see how far it goes. And truly, the more you put a drop on there and you start troweling that thing, it just goes on forever and ever and ever. It truly does. So
Yeah.
as much as you think it's expensive, you know, think about it as you're troweling that out and how far that's going.
How would the price compare with urethane stain versus this?
I would say this is cheaper by the time you get both. I mean, you're looking at, this is like $20 for this. I think these are, gosh, what are they? 74?
Something like that. And that big one is like $170, that big tall can on the...
Yeah, this
That's
guy.
the Sheen.
No, the 2C.
Oh, 2C.
Yep. So
But if-
this is like, this goes a long
Well,
ways. I think-
that'd be forever. You know, you and I aren't going to probably have that in our shop.
Yeah, and you can go online and look at the square footage on the coverage. This would be like a lifetime's worth for projects, so.
Right.
Yeah,
I
think
guess I
these-
just wanted to harp on it for just a moment that it really does go a long way. So
Yeah,
Have you used it on woods that do tend to blotch, like he said? I mean, I have some maple stuff I'm working on, and I'm curious as to how that does.
I haven't.
if you
I
want
work in a
after the
lot of
seminar,
exotics.
let's grab a piece of maple and we'll sand it
Yeah.
up for you and we'll just try it.
Okay.
You can just check it out and see what you think.
I'm curious as well.
Yeah,
I've not
Is
had
it-
yeah, yeah.
anything.
It is. We were talking about that earlier. Nobody likes maple.
I love it, but except yeah.
I know. Yeah. Yeah.
I haven't had that experience though. I mean,
Okay.
but I'm still limited. I mean, I haven't done a lot. I've just
Yeah.
done a few projects, but every one of them has turned out just fine. My big hang up is just beat a dead horse is because I do a lot of boxes and squares and edges and seams and stuff, and you got to get it out of there. Because
How do
it's,
you do it?
I got this.
Yeah, that's what
Yep, and I got that rag, that paper towel. and I just got to get in there and I just go across like that and whatever it takes.
Yeah.
And that's where the time is.
Right.
And I have to just tell myself, Dennis, keep doing it. Because one thing I found on this one in particular was that bottom is dadoed in there, so, and it's floating just a little bit. It's not rock solid in there. I wanted just a little bit of. So when I was doing this and I was pressing that, every once in a while it'd push out a little bit of that stuff that had seeped in.
Oh.
So for about 15 minutes afterwards, I kept going back to that and pushing it and then doing that. So, and it's kind of important. Don't you agree? I mean, because it's going to tack up, and then it just isn't going to look good. And then your eye's going to go right to that corner. You're going to always see it. You'll never unsee it.
And you're going to show all your friends what you did. Which you're not supposed to do as a woodworker.
You're not supposed to, but you're going to see it. So.
Okay.
All right, I won't beat that anymore.
No, that's a good thing. So I'm glad you did. A couple of things I wanted to show you that are kind of beyond the standard. Well, first off, has anybody made much out of poplar? Yeah. Well, nice thing about poplar is that, a lot of the, I don't know what's all over this, but a lot of the furniture that you see and buy, it says cherry cabinet. Well, it's not cherry, it's poplar, or something like that. So I was just curious about some different colors with poplar. This is the pure on top, which obviously didn't cover it up much, but this ash gray and this golden hour, I don't know what it is about golden hour, but we keep selling it. It's kind of this yellowy stuff, but people seem to like it. And then even this midnight sky, if you're wanting to build a nice piece of furniture or something, you don't want to spend a lot of money on it. Well, I think this is pretty cool to be able to use Rubio in different looks and things and give you that cabinet grade look. So that was just a little bit of an experiment that we did. So this is something that was kind of interesting as well. I don't know, is that okay, Mark? Mm-hmm. They have some stuff called PreAging. So this is just a piece of hickory, and PreAging is supposed to make it look older. So there's different levels of PreAging. There's PreAging 1 through 5, and then they've got some different tones for PreAging. I think there's like 10 different colors and stuff. So this is something that you would apply before you apply the Rubio. So if you're looking for a rustic look, these different PreAgings can give you that. Now in this case, it really went gray, just with the PreAging on it by itself. This section right here is the PreAging with the pure over the top. And then this section here is the PreAging with this golden hour over the top. So, the difference between this and this and this, that's a pretty big range, all with just the change in this PreAging stuff. So, it took it from kind of more yellowish to more of an even tone up here, and it even kind of evened out a few little things. So the PreAging is kind of a neat thing, and it's a pretty simple process.
So it's also a Rubio, so you can...
Part of the Rubio system.
Where we said you can't put it on top of stuff, well, there are exceptions.
So this is PreAging number 2, which is fairly light. This is PreAging number 5 without anything on it, so it definitely went darker. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, this is PreAging smoke. So these three are all PreAging, different tones and different levels of PreAging. So it's almost like you're kind of toning the wood before the pure goes on. So if you're still wanting to use that pure, you can kind of tone the wood with it as well.
It brings out the grain, it's more contrast to the grain.
It does, yeah. So once you put, this is PreAging with pure on it. So big difference there. And then this got even darker. And then this one went a lot darker. So, so if there's a color that you don't like, but like you said, you're wanting to bring that grain out a little bit more or have more of a base tone, the PreAging can be kind of a neat way to go. So I'll pass this around to you guys. And this is all on white oak, I believe.
They'll have those samples and things in the paint department too, so you'll be able to see them. You could actually, and I'll probably get myself in trouble here, but if you could bring in a piece of your maple, that's something that you're going to use, that's a sample of what you're going to use, and you could ask them to put a couple of different colors on just so you could see before you dive in. So
I'm just going to put a couple of PreAging things on this cypress, which I haven't done cypress before. It might be kind of interesting. This stuff is like water though, so it's a little bit on the messy side.
is that how we do that, Kim?
That's how we do that, Dennis.
I don't have any experience with this, so this is all new to me, so I'm rooting for him.
Well, that's interesting. It definitely left a spot in the middle. So don't do it like that.
On what's this wood again?
This is on cypress, so let's try something.
I'm guessing that probably would have been better off brushing that on, don't you think?
Could be. Let's try that too. Let's pour it in a cup though and try and do it halfway intelligently. Just halfway, not completely. See what we get with this. Yeah, that's a little better.
Even the color is different.
So that definitely has kind of a rustic feel to it. It's kind of cool. And this has that I don't give a shit look.
That's what my grandchild said about
Yeah. I am curious though.
Put another.
Yeah, let's put another coat of the other stuff on and see. You got any more of those little cups?
No, I don't, Kim.
You don't. I was thinking we had some. Oh,
I do.
he does. He's just being facetious.
Uh-oh, drop one. Made a drop.
Oh, there we go. That's what I love about these live seminars. There's always some surprise. Okay.
Mistakes so we don't wonder.
That's right.
I wish.
You should have been here.
I wish.
They haven't covered all them.
You should have been here for the, yeah.
What is it? A good woodworker is one that knows how to fix his mistakes.
That's right. That's what we do. Yeah, that's starting to even out a little bit. That's an interesting idea too, as a second coat or maybe even a third coat if you really want to get some tone on it. But I don't know if we're going to get rid of that mark we had, Dennis.
Well, I think the lesson there is that needed to get wiped up immediately. I mean, it was
Yeah.
that's just right
Running
where
through the
the,
grain.
yeah.
We'll just leave
And it
that.
might not have done the same thing to a different species of wood. I mean, it might have
Yeah, cypress is probably a lot like pine, and that it's a tough thing to stain.
Did you use two different PreAging, or is it the same?
No, this is the fumed,
Okay.
and then this is PreAging 5.
Okay.
So a little
That's
bit
why we have the
different.
different colors.
Yeah. Get those so we don't spill them. And that, and we'll just let this sit here a while. I'm just curious to see if it.
Time to leave that on? You know, the 5 to 6 or 10 to 11 minutes?
Well, the one thing I notice is that you can literally just brush it on and it'll evaporate.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you're wanting to get it on there, you know, a little more solid, I would just leave it like that. But if it's something that's like I just want a little tone, put it on, then wipe it off. So this does take 24 hours to dry though. So it's got to be completely dry before the Rubio goes on top. So
So we won't be putting any pure on that today.
not going to do that today, no. But you know, pretty dramatic change in from our standard piece of cypress there. So another way you can get some color into your projects. So another thing they have, which is kind of interesting, is what's called PreColor. And it's kind of like the PreAging, but it's a little bit more like a paint. So that's what this is. So this is a piece of oak. This is what's called PreColor Black. So it's a water-based, kind of like a dye tint in a way, the way I kind of look at it. And then you put your finish over the top of that. Well, they have this in like 10 different colors. So there's white and black and all kinds of other things. So it's like a really heavy tone. But you can, like in the case of oak with all this open grain, you can come back with a contrasting color and then wipe that off, and that gives you sort of that, you know, you've seen furniture and stuff with kind of that black-white look. So anyway, we'll do that sample here in just a second. Before I get into that, I did kind of bypass this. This is walnut. This has PreAging number 5 on top. That's what it looked like originally. So we got a little bit of tone to it, and then got the pure over the top, and it really deepened up that walnut nice, I thought. It really gave it a much darker look, and of course walnut's gonna darken with age anyway. But then I tried the PreColor, which is more of that solid color stain, and that really turned that walnut into a black walnut, and then did pure over the top of that. So it's kind of a neat look too. So it's like, you know, we were talking about the price of walnut these days, and probably a shame to do this, but if you're refinishing something and it's walnut and you want a little more contemporary look, you could certainly do that. So
You said it's water-based?
yeah, the PreColor is
Does
water-based.
it raise the grain?
It does.
How
Yeah.
do you deal with that then?
Well, I'll show you here in just a second. We'll just go through a quick little sample here. I'm aging enough, I don't need more PreAging on top.
I hear you.
Right? You got one with more of those little cups?
You can only have one more. It's a good thing Dennis showed up now, isn't it?
It is. How about a foam brush? You got a foam brush by any chance? Oh, those are too little.
That's all I got.
Okay, I'll just use one of these pads. So this is PreColor Intense Black, and I wish we had more colors here, but this is all we have. Actually, I think what I did was I just poured this out, so we'll just do that. So it is serious color, but that's kind of the fun part about it.
Seems obvious, but make sure your table and floor and stuff's protected, especially if you're doing it in your basement.
That's about all there is to it. I didn't even really wipe much of this off because I found that if you start wiping it off, you start to get back to seeing a lot of wood, which might be a look that you're looking for. Let's try that on one spot. So that's basically how I got to this. So that's our sort of our oak that's been, red oak that's been done with PreColor Easy. I'm gonna just take half of this and wipe it down a little bit.
Could you use that to like do a ceruse finish, do the pre-stain black, and then do like a white Rubio Monocoat on the top of it?
Yeah, and actually that's what we're gonna do.
Oh,
Yep.
sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
Great minds.
Yeah,
Like
you're thinking
mines.
ahead.
There goes your punchline.
I know it. So if you're looking for that look where you see a little bit of that brown through there, you can wipe it down. You know, we'd let that dry, go completely black, let this sort of do its own thing. You know, and the more I wipe, the more brown that's starting to come through. So, you know, the thing I like about this is if, you know, I don't know what it is, that people either love oak or they seem to hate it, or they're just sick of it. You know, it's like, but gosh, you know, look at all the stuff that's built out of oak these days, you know, still, especially older homes and stuff. So being able to shift oak to something new and contemporary, I think is kind of exciting. So that's just a, you know, renew instead of rebuild type of thing.
And again, the hope that I'm hoping you guys are seeing is that Rubio isn't just about monocoat. There's just, I had no idea either, but there's just a lot of possibilities.
Yeah, and the other thing that's neat, we've had this pop up quite a few times, is that you can mix the colors. So we had a client that was doing, I don't know, I think it's like 15,000 square feet of beams and floor, and so they literally bought, you can get Rubio in these giant cans, so they ordered like 5 of them. But anyway, they were really worried about matching things, and they wanted the tone right and everything. So they picked a color, but they thought it was too much color. So what they did is they did 2 parts of the color and 1 part of the pure, and then mixed that together, and that toned it down a little bit. It was the right tone, but it wasn't covering up the wood as much. So you can mix and match any kind of.
It's okay to do that before you put the accelerator in your little keep, so to speak.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. That's what we did for them. We pre-mixed it in 5-gallon buckets and everything, and yeah, they just added the accelerator when they wanted. So anyway,
that's what these 2 trays, these 2 things here are, is a mixture of color with pure. I like that.
The monocoat, the color monocoat, right? Not the water-based.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Because the monocoat is an oil-based type product. So you asked, well, does it make it rough? Well, here you can feel it. It definitely, just like any water-based.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it raised the grain. So we don't want to sand all that off, though, because then we're going to start sanding into the wood fibers. So that's where the red pad comes in. Basically, we're just knocking all that down. So it's going to smooth it out pretty well, but not take it off. If you've got to repair something too, those like Scotch-Brite pads, the maroon ones and the green ones and stuff, you can go in and spot sand with those and then just put your Rubio back over the top. So this is kind of doing the same thing in a way. Does that feel smooth? I got gloves on.
Oh, yeah. I didn't
Smooth?
feel it. Yeah.
Okay,
Just about baby's bottom, but
just about. Okay, so we're gonna put an oyster color over the top of this. I don't know how this is gonna come out, but we're gonna see.
ooh, make sure that camera's running.
You've been waiting for this, Dennis.
So on this sample, I did cotton white. So just a heads up. And I don't know what it is about Rubio, but when you get these bottles, they're always skinned over. That's normal. Don't worry about that. I don't know if that's
Is that gonna
something
dig out?
that they. I got this guy, so I'm good. But just pop
Every
that
bottle's like that, though.
You know, that foil top kind of thing.
off. No, it's just like finish.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's like it just skins over the top, but every one that I've opened, they've all been that way. Doesn't seem to affect anything, but
Okay. I'm gonna go through here. All right, are you ready, Mr. Camera Guy?
Moment of truth.
So it's just like any Rubio. You're just gonna do your best to spread that out and work it in. This is good because yesterday when I did it on this piece, I didn't wait long enough for the PreColor to dry. So when I put the stuff over the top, I was seeing black come back off. So there again, I didn't follow the instructions, but this was done yesterday, so it looks like we're generally not lifting a lot of that off of there.
there, I'll get those.
So we'll leave that on there for a few minutes before we wipe it off. While that's drying, before we reveal what's happening there, they do have wood fillers too. This is water-based wood filler. They have it light, medium, and dark. You can you mix it up. You can trowel it on with a squeegee if you want. So if you've got open grain wood, you can go over the whole thing. So this side has been troweled on, this side's been troweled off. Did a pretty good job of filling the grain on the yoke. And you can use it for nail holes and stuff like that too. So thing I like is you just, unlike the bottles of fillers that you get that dry out after a while, this is just powder, so you just mix it up. So just a heads up on that.
Does it accept the color then?
Yes, the color will stick to it.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's Rubio's big thing. They don't seem to say they'll stick to anything but whatever they make. So what else here?
So that color you just put on, is that the 2C?
That's the 2C. Yep, that's the 2C in ash. So, well, let's go on ahead and wipe it down and just see what we got. Might leave it on a little bit longer in real life, but here again, just like any other Rubio coating, we're literally almost kind of buffing it a little bit if we can. So yeah, that gave us a little more subtle fill to the whole thing, but kind of a neat little way to go. Especially on oak. Oak's perfect for that kind of stuff. So, was it what you hoped for, Dennis? Was it? You didn't really say much. Just saying.
A few words in there.
He's
No,
speechless. Oh no, he's not. If Dennis has got something on his mind, he's got something on his mind.
So at this point, that would be considered finished?
That's finished.
It has the, whatever the top coat type.
It does, yeah. And like I said, I probably would have left it on just a little bit longer. Use a white, you're gonna get much more contrast, you know, so just pick the level of tone, you know, top coat that you want on there. You can go over this with SheenPlus though,
Right.
which will make the color a little deeper.
Okay.
And you can kind of see that with this. You know, this is without the SheenPlus, this is with the SheenPlus. Got just a little more depth to it. So here again, these were probably done a little too hurriedly, but anyway, that gives you a rough idea of the PreColor Easy. I'm gonna give some of this stuff a try on some things I'm thinking about doing.
Cool.
I've got an old set of speakers that I built when I was a teenager, and they're octagonal, which is weird, but it seemed cool at the time. But they're made out of walnut and maple, and they just have kind of a dated look. So I'm gonna try just doing this PreColor over the top of it and just see what happens. And otherwise, if that fails, I'll veneer them. Okay. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we haven't covered for that. Any questions on the interior, Rubio, so far, beyond what we've talked about? Got anything?
It's unlimited, man. Possibilities are unlimited.
All right. I could probably pass this around without you guys getting finish on you. That's the nice thing about Rubio too, is once you wipe it down, it feels dry. So, anybody have any outdoor furniture or decks or anything like that that you're going to do soon? If you do, and I do, Rubio has a product called DuraGrit. So DuraGrit's available in lots of different colors. It's a water-based exterior coating. It's perfect for like outdoor patio furniture and stuff like that. It's different though. There's no accelerator. You don't wipe it off. You just simply brush it on. So that's.
How long does it take to cure?
I believe in 24 hours it's cured. Yeah. So.
How durable is it? How long does it last?
Well,
I mean, that's, yeah.
Yeah. I've heard good things. I know, is Dwayne here today?
He is out front.
Yeah, he used it a couple years ago, and it's still on there, so we'll have to ask him. Yeah, he's had pretty good luck with it. So anyway, use it on cedar, treated, as long as the treated is dry enough, you know, usually treated lumber. They say give it a year before you put anything on it.
So what if you've already had something on, like we put out of desperation some Thompsons on ours this year just because we were kind of in a hurry and it needed something?
You're gonna need to let it dry out.
Like for?
Probably next year.
Oh, which, yeah, that would
be
acceptable.
Yeah.
You know, do nothing else with it.
Yeah, Thompson's typically disappears in a year anyway.
Like I said, I'm aware of that.
Yeah, I know. I've been in your situation and I've done the same thing. Yeah,
With tricks.
yeah.
I know, and then, that's the next step.
There was a website that rated all these different outdoor finishes for decks and stuff, and they did the Thompson's part, and they basically said, it's almost better if you don't put it on. So,
Well, I can tell it's sort of still there.
So I'll brush one out here for you. The one thing with DuraGrit, and this is the main size it comes in, so pretty good size container. The one thing with DuraGrit is it will leave overlap marks. So what you get is what you see. And I'll just brush one on here real quick, just to kind of give you an example. Let's see, we got a... This is just a sample here, but. You got any of those little cups?
No, I don't have any.
The last one.
It's a good thing you're here. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Yeah.
despite what the audience says,
They love me.
they do. Okay.
My question with this stuff would be, how do you avoid the same problems you have with like poly shades or something like that, that just, pools it, blotches it, does all that stuff?
You mean as far as application or?
Yeah, in terms of just like getting an even finish, anything that has the stain in it already, I've had so many problems with.
Well, it does brush out nice. I mean, that I do know.
Sure.
Even when it's 90 degrees outside?
That I have not done yet, so that is a good question.
You can experiment with that today.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got a little blotch there you probably ought to brush out.
Yeah, so it's like, if you do that and you leave it like that, that's what it's gonna look like.
Okay.
So, I mean, you have to brush it out. And,
And you would put it on with a brush?
yep. I don't know if you can spray it or not.
It looks pretty
Yeah.
Yeah, they got some nice colors and stuff too, and water cleanup, so that's nice. Don't know a whole lot more about it beyond that. I know we've got the one guy who's used it. I'm planning on using it on some raw Douglas fir porch flooring for a porch that I've got, but here again, what I would love to do on that porch floor is put like a varnish on it or something, because there's not a knot in it. I spent a bunch of time getting it all prepped. Basically made my own porch flooring, which is like the toughest thing you can do, but it's less, I just know what regular marine varnish and stuff is gonna do, and it's gonna get sun on it, it's gonna get stuff underneath that film, it's going to start bubbling up, popping off, then you got to strip the whole thing. So where this is just literally it's a lot like DuraGrit and some of those other coatings. It's not a film forming, so, but I don't think from a repair standpoint that you can just go in and have it blend in like it does with regular Rubio, which is kind of unfortunate, but anyway, that's kind of it in a nutshell. And but if you haven't tried it, just try and grab a sample bottle or something for your next project and give it a whirl and just see what you think. And it's been a big deal here at the store. When we first got it in, we had a couple people asking for it. Well, we're selling as much of that now as we are general finishes or anything else. So we're ordering it every week, and and I think it's just the simplicity for a lot of people. They just don't want to have to sand in between coats and stuff, and I get it. I mean, it's like that's a lot of work. If you guys have seen those maple cabinets up front, I had to finish those before we opened, and 3 coats on those things. There's like 24 boxes, I mean, it's a killer.
Yeah, it was a killer, and I didn't even do it.
Yeah, where were you?
But I heard just right along with him. I heard.
Along those lines, I always use that superfine sponge type to do between. That red stuff do as good, or wouldn't you recommend that for between coats? The red surface prep thing.
Well, I'll tell you what Becky told me, because I asked her the other day about it again, and she said a lot of times they recommend that for if it's a more porous wood and that's going to raise the grain, apply it using that and rub that in because it'll knock some of those nubs down as you go. That's how she explained it. I haven't tried it yet, but. And then she's got information in there because a lot of times apparently people will water pop and there's a process to that, and so there's just all kinds of different ways to do everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, water popping, that's a whole nother thing that we should do sometime. Anybody ever done that?
Yep.
Have you had good luck with it?
Water-based stain. And
Okay.
Yeah, it works.
What's the big gain?
I mean, it's just that it doesn't, if you pop it first and then you put the stain on, it doesn't raise nearly as much
Okay,
after the stain as it does if you just put the stain on.
sure. Okay.
But
So when you're
okay,
going ahead, no, go
I've
ahead.
been told you don't, once you water pop it, don't sand it a lot,
Yeah.
just enough. If you sand a lot,
You've closed it
You're
up
just
again.
wanting to knock off
I
all the
typically
highs.
use like a 4/0 steel wool.
Oh, do you?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Or you could use one of those abrasion pads like
sure.
this or something like that. So, yeah, that's interesting. So when you're putting the water on, is it just with a damp rag then?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Or spray it with like a spray.
Oh,
bottle or
sure, and
something.
then just wipe it down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And I have to try that.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting. So, because we do sell a lot of water-based finishes, and that's the complaint is that it's water-based and it raises the grain, and so and a lot of stains you can't sand over the top of the stain, otherwise you're going through. So, but okay. Well, I hope this helped everybody a little bit, and yeah, give it a whirl. I think you'll really like it. We got a few giveaways.
There's, if you want to, there's this set of trays has SheenPlus on it.
I didn't sign it.
Sign up real quick.
This set of trays doesn't, but it's going to. And the other thing, and I was just going to point this out, is on this one here, it's 2 colors, and I wasn't sure how to get, I didn't know, if I put this thing together, I didn't know how I was going to get that color differently. So I milled it to width and length, put on the color, let it dry. It was probably 2 days. And then I went ahead and milled it with the slots and everything. And then I put it on the spindle sander. So there's been, even after I put this on there was some milling going on and, running it over the spindle sander. And I did this on the shaper, so I was running that over it. And of course, then the pins weren't cut yet. So I colored it, milled it, cut the pins, glued it together, and then there's going to be little bits of something there. So it worked out really good. I don't think you can see where I did and where I had to go over things. It blends really well. And that was, I don't know, I thought that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Oh, and the colors are, I'm not an oak guy, but I even kind of like this. So.
like you said, he speaks what he thinks.
Well, I'm like everybody else. We all
should be here on a Monday.
we all started out in oak, but we've kind of gone other directions.
Yeah, that's a neat idea, if you want contrasting pieces like that.
Yeah.
I just don't know how you would have done that.
You can't tape it off.
You can't tape it, so.
Because if you tape that stuff off, it bleeds underneath the tape, and that doesn't work.
So
at
anyway,
all.
that was my point to that is that there's another option or possibility for you if you're building something. Just build it in pieces, put it together, and then touch it up. Because what it says, it doesn't overlap. So
So I would assume though that if you put the sheen over this, can you still touch it up like that? Like if it got damaged?
Oh yeah, Yeah, absolutely.
You can still touch it up. Would you have to reapply the sheen then?
I would think so. I don't.
Probably.
But you
Yeah.
can just kind of lightly sand the area you're trying to fix, and then
And the sheen's the same way. It's non-overlapping, so yeah. Yeah, from that standpoint, it's wonderful.
Bless you.
Somebody asked when they got here earlier, I can't remember who it was, you know, do you have to, I think it was you, do you have to reapply it after 3 or 4 years? They do have a couple of things. One's called universal maintenance oil. And so regardless of what color, like if you didn't have the finish or they discontinued it or something, this is supposed to renew it. This will also give it some sheen too, apparently, and some color depth, so you can use this as a second top coat. So both for renewing and that extra top coat, you can use this maintenance oil. They also have one called Renew, which is designed just to renew the finish itself without reapplying it. So from that perspective, that's a, you know, you can have it looking brand new again. And
Is it,
Sorry, I'm confused about the renew. How is that, I mean, I'm sorry, I don't know what you mean when you say you wanted to.
well, let's say you did a pair of kitchen cabinets or
Right.
some kitchen cabinets or something, and it's starting to get dull and maybe a little bit worn through.
Okay.
You can just put the Renew on it instead of the pure color
Oh,
again.
gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
the Renew is supposed to just renew that color
Okay.
and bring the depth back and stuff. So if you've got some dull spots and stuff over time, you can just go back over it with either the maintenance oil or the Renew. They don't really have like this line of use this for this and use this for
Yeah,
this. They both kind of work the
What you
same.
would clean kitchen cabinets with, you know, if they got grease splattered on them or tomato sauce or, you know,
Well,
I mean.
they do have their own soap. I'm not sure where it's at.
oh, we don't have that.
They do have their own soap. And it's apparently designed to clean furniture and stuff.
Okay,
So.
And it kind
yeah.
of makes sense that you might want to use that.
yeah.
Yeah, because you don't.
Because, don't go looking for trouble.
No, that's,
Cheap
I
it
mean,
out.
obviously you're not gonna hit it with 409, I guess.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, or sometimes even Dawn can be pretty tough
Oh,
on
yeah.
stuff. I mean, that's some pretty good cleaners. So it's like,
Right.
so yes, you know,
Perfect.
not only do you buy into the finish, you buy into the soap
I
too.
see.
You can have the whole line.
It's for flooring and like kitchen cabinets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that wine would stain it,
Yeah,
so it's not an impenetrable surface, obviously.
not 100%, but wine's a pretty tough thing.
Oh,
though.
yeah, it is. But,
Yeah.
But, I mean, to be fair, like, I'm a canner. I have
Oh,
splattered tomato
sure.
sauce and,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
you name it, all over everything.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
if you use your kitchen, you're gonna get it dirty.
Right,
You are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, pickle juice and, you know, what have you.
So my vote would be to use the kitchen.
Just use the microwave.
You're in there for cereal.
The whole kitchen's built around the microwave.
Well, it's like, yeah.
I would really encourage all of you to, give it a try.